With or without an ice cream maker, making creamy, rich, homemade ice cream is easier than you may think. Hi mindful moms and dads, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, and nothing trumps homemade ice cream. And today I'm going to show you two methods for making ice cream. One is using an ice cream maker and one is using no special equipment. It's called no-churn ice cream. If you're wondering which one tastes better, don't worry, I have you covered. I'm gonna call in my very picky taste testers and they're gonna give you their honest feedback and let you know if an ice cream maker is worth it when it comes to homemade ice cream. But enough chit chat, let's put on our kitchen capes and make ice cream. First up, I'm gonna show you a classic homemade vanilla ice cream made using an ice cream maker. I have a Cuisinart ice cream maker. I love it. It's been trustworthy. It's lasted for years, works great. But when you use an ice cream maker, you must take your base and pop it in the freezer for at least 12 hours before you make homemade ice cream. So that is something to keep in mind and plan ahead. My recipe for vanilla ice cream is super simple. There's no tempering of eggs. In fact, this ice cream is egg-free. I do that because A, it's easier, and B, I have a nephew who has an egg allergy, and I like it that he can enjoy Aunt Kristen's ice cream. Makes me the cool aunt in his book. To start, I'm pouring in 2 cups of whole milk into a medium saucepan. You really do want to use a full-fat milk or even half and half to make this ice cream really creamy. You can get away with 2% milk, but don't use skim milk when making homemade ice cream. Your ice cream won't be creamy. Instead, it'll have like an icy consistency. I'm adding in 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. You can use up to 1 cup of sugar if you like things really sweet, but for me, 3/4 cups is plenty. Then add in 2 cups of heavy cream. You want to heat this mixture over low heat, whisking constantly until the mixture is just warm and the sugar is dissolved. We don't want our milk to boil, we don't want it to simmer. We just want to start to see bubbles form along the edges and that sugar to be dissolved. Then turn off the heat, pour this mixture into a 4-cup measuring cup, which will make it much easier for me to transfer into my ice cream base here in a couple hours. Then add in 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract and whisk to incorporate. You want to cover your cream mixture and pop into the fridge for at least 2 hours, but overnight is best. So if you forgot to pop your base in your freezer, do that now and wait 12 hours while your cream cools in the refrigerator, and then you'll be ready to make ice cream. Now we're ready to churn. So I have my base here from the freezer. I'm gonna assemble my ice cream maker, pop my machine on, and then pour my cream mixture right into the canister. It's gonna take anywhere for 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your model, for your ice cream to churn into that soft serve consistency. My kids and even I love to stand and watch the ice cream churn. It's really fun to see the ice cream maker do its magic. Once your ice cream is softly frozen, it'll be about the texture of soft serve. You want to turn your ice cream maker off, remove your lid. You can serve your ice cream immediately, but it'll have a really soft texture. I think it's better if you pop this mixture into an airtight container, cover with plastic wrap. That'll prevent any ice crystals from forming on your ice cream. Pop a lid onto your airtight container and then pop into the freezer. In about 2 hours, it'll be perfectly scoopable. Dish it out in ice cream cones, top with hot fudge, whipped cream, a cherry on top, however you like it. But what if you don't have an ice cream maker? No problem, I have you covered with this easy no-churn vanilla ice cream recipe. Ice cream makers work their magic because they whip air into the cream as it freezes, which keeps it light and fluffy. But by folding whipped cream into sweetened condensed milk, we can replicate the flavor and texture of classic vanilla ice cream without any expensive piece of equipment. The first thing you want to do is line a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan with parchment paper. My pan is glass, but it is freezer safe. Most glass pans are not, so be sure that you check your pan first. Silicone or steel or metal pans are freezer safe and will work perfectly well. While I make my ice cream mixture, I'm gonna pop the loaf pan in the freezer so that it gets nice and cold. And then in a very large mixing bowl, you wanna pour in 1 small can of sweetened condensed milk, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And just whisk that just to combine and set that aside. Now for your whipped cream, it really helps if your bowl that you're gonna whip your cream in is cold. So I suggest popping it into the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes before you intend to whip cream. You can use a handheld mixer or a stand mixer. You wanna pour 2 cups of cream into a really cold bowl, and then if you're using a handheld mixer, start off on low so that your kitchen isn't covered with cream. And then once bubbles have begun to form, you can turn the speed up high and whip until soft peaks form. We're gonna take this whipped cream and we're gonna gently fold it into the sweetened condensed milk until it's light and combined. At this point, we have our base for vanilla ice cream. You can leave it as is, as I am today, or you can add in up to 1 cup of additional mix-ins like M&Ms or chocolate chips or nuts or fresh fruit, whatever you like. Grab your loaf pan from the freezer and transfer this mixture into your loaf pan. Cover with plastic wrap and pop into the freezer for at least 4 hours, and then scoop up and enjoy any way your heart desires. Okay, I'm back with my family as promised. These are my very picky taste testers, and you guys are really experienced when it comes to ice cream, aren't you?
Yeah.
We eat a lot of ice cream. So I have 2 bowls of ice cream here. They don't know which is which, but I have my homemade and my no-churn ice cream, and they're gonna help determine if there's a difference or if one's better than the other. All right, so we have spoons, don't double dip, and let's dig in. What do you guys think?
I personally like this one
I like that one best.
Are they both good?
They're both good.
I like them both myself. I feel like both taste like good quality ice cream, but there's one that's a little bit creamier than the other, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's that one.
This is shocking. It's the no-churn ice cream. It goes to show you, you don't need an expensive piece of equipment to enjoy a homemade treat that's delicious.